Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I now call the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Hillsborough County Code Enforcement Special Magistrate hearing. When addressing the Special Magistrate, please state your name, address, and speak clearly into the microphone. If you are planning to speak during this hearing, you must sign the speakers list located at the front door for the record. Presentations by the county, respondents, and opposition must be kept to a maximum of 10 minutes each. The Special Magistrate may recess at 12:30 and reconvene at 1:30 to conclude business if needed. The basic process for this hearing is as follows. Your case will be announced. Ms. Meyer will conduct the oath of witness, and staff will present their evidence on your case. You'll be allowed to rebut that evidence and explain what has occurred. I will close the hearing and announce a decision. All decisions are based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator, and the violator's history. I may ask questions and allow other witness testimony as necessary. If I issue an order for compliance, it is your responsibility to notify the code enforcement officer on or before the date ordered to demonstrate the violation has been corrected. Depending on my order, the code enforcement staff may later have to conduct an inspection to see if you have complied. If the staff believes you have not complied, you will receive a notice in the mail. By law, you have 10 days to contest that notice, otherwise it will be considered correct and a lien may be filed against your property. If you have any questions, these rules are outlined by Hillsborough County Codes of Ordinances and Laws, Chapter 14, Article 2, Section 14. Any person who decides to appeal a decision of the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate will need a record of the proceedings. The record is comprised of the testimony and evidence upon which appeal is based. It is your responsibility to ensure that a verbatim record of the proceedings is made. By law, you have 30 days from the date of the order to appeal the Special Magistrate's decision to Circuit Court. And before we begin, please silence all electronic devices. Second order of business. I move to approve the minutes for the Special Magistrate hearing for November 6th and December 4th of 2020. Ms. Meyer?
All staff who will testify must take the oath of witness. Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. First case is on page 9 of your agenda under landscaping and natural resource cases. Number 15, case number L195831. The owner is Hilario and Claudia Vasquez Life Estate and Diella Marie Martinez. The location is 4101 Woodacre Lane, and we have service. We also have a violator, Angel Gonzalez, and Ready Set Cut Tree Service Incorporated. We have service on all parties. And I believe people are here for this case, and we also have someone online for this case. If you're here, come up forward now for this case. Somebody get this straight.
My name is Angel Gonzalez.
It's Mr. Miri. Chiberina?
Good morning.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And now you can say your name and address.
My name is Angel Gonzalez. My address is 16405 Oak Manor Drive, Tampa 33624.
Thank you. And I think we also have some parties online. Can we get them on so I can do the oath?
Hello?
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Michelle, can you name?
Rashad Reddick. Address 6005 West North Street, Tampa, Florida, 33634.
Excuse me, Mr. Richard, we need to see your webcam. If you can present yourself, please.
How do we, because it's on YouTube, how do we do the webcam?
You should have been received an email that had a link to join the meeting. Once you join the meeting, you should have the access to share your webcam and audio. So if you have that that link, you might need to use your smart device or computer to use the application.
Okay. All right. Are we able to do it on the phone?
We need visual view.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he has camera on his phone, or do we need to do it on the computer?
You can do it on your phone, but you need to run it through the application.
Okay, let's just do it through the computer. 1 second. We're logging in now.
Okay. Are you ready for the county?
We're still
1
waiting on
second.
visual.
All right, thank you. I had mic problems, so.
Information. That's all right, I think that's true. Okay, join me. And let's turn the camera on.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Oh, you can hear me.
Okay. Yes, I do see you are signed in and your audio. There you are. Okay. It looks like I got you now.
Awesome.
Is Mr. Reddick there? Is he the one that's going to testify?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I need to see him a little better. Okay, raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
And state your name and address.
Rashard Reddick, 6005 West North Street, Tampa, Florida, 33634.
And you are with Ready, Set, Cut Tree Service?
Yes, I was.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Hall?
Yeah, hello.
This is Krista Hull, Environmental Supervisor with the Development Services Department. This is case L 195831, property owner Claudia and Hilario Vasquez Life Estate and Daniela M. Martinez. Violators Angel Gonzalez and Ready Set Cut Tree Service Incorporated. Violation address 4101 Woodacre Lane at Tampa. Violation observed was unpermitted removal of 4 pine trees measuring 12, 14, 14, 14 inches DBH. Ordinance violated is section 4.01.03 and 12.01. First inspection, December 30th, 2019. First notice, January 3rd, 2020. Last inspection, January 25th, 2021, 4 inspections. On January 3rd, 2020, Wayne Doyne went to the property, identified 4 tree stumps that were removed without permits. As you can see, the property is I guess an odd triangular shape. The trees are along that very fine point where it goes up behind the property that has the number 34. That is the property that is owned by Mr. Gonzalez. He was wanting the trees removed from behind his house. We received a letter from the HOA in that area, that identified Angel Gonzalez as the party that instructed the trees to be removed without permission of the HOA and also of the property owner. That was identified back in 2018. This was brought to our attention also by EPC. The debris was evidently put into a wetland area, and it is our understanding that that has been cleared up. And they had identified Angel Gonzalez as the party responsible for disposal. I have received a letter from the property owner. The granddaughter had notified me that her parents could not come because they are going through a cancer treatment. They were not aware that these trees were removed until the inspector came and brought it to their attention. They did not give permission for Mr. Gonzalez or Ready Set Cut Tree Service to work on their property. The county is not going to have the property owners be responsible for this. This is going against the parties involved with the tree removal. The staff is recommending submittal of a tree restoration or contribution agreement for 40 inches of trees within 30 calendar days. That is a reduction of one tree. It was identified that at least one of the trees was dead at the time of removal. The rest of the trees were in poor condition or still alive. 2, complete restoration or contribution within 120 calendar days from receipt of an approved agreement with the parties. 3, the violators, Angel Gonzalez and Ready Set Cut Tree Service, will be responsible for resolving this matter with the county, and the property owner shall be removed from the violation, and fines will be issued for failure to meet the timeframes.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, why don't we start with you? What can you tell us?
Okay, yes, sir. Well, I'm not here to make any excuses for the removal of the trees. Just state a few facts, really, for your consideration. We had a hurricane a few years back, Irma. I'm sure you all remember it. It did damage the trees that are right next to my property line. And I believe more than one of them were dead. They were all in poor condition. And to me, not being an expert, of course, they were dead. And some of the branches started falling onto my property. Some of the branches were pretty big. The trees were unkept, and the branches grew on top of my property, and they were falling onto my property. Ready Tree Cut Services came one day. I don't know if it was an employee or if it was the owner. I don't know who it was because I don't have their name. I didn't ask for identification. They were offering to do tree work, and I told them I had a few pine trees in the back that were dead and with falling debris onto my property, and asked them if they could remove them, and they said they could, and they did, and I paid them for their service. I wasn't aware they disposed of some debris in the wetlands behind my property. I never knew about it until months later. Somebody told me, and we got somebody to clean it up, and I paid for it, and that wasn't a problem. So I guess that's the story behind it, really. So
Okay,
that's all.
thank you. Mr. Reddick, what would you like to add?
Yeah, I don't know anything about this, number one. I wasn't there. I done been through this before. So after I went through this the first time, everything I do now is on contract. So if you don't have a contract from me or for the permit, that's not Ready, Set, Cut. Now, I had an employee that used to work for me that did this the first time that I went through this. I got rid of him after that. Now, he has done stole my trucks. He has been using my name. I actually had to go change my name because of this. So I'm not even Ready, Set, Cut no more. So I ended up having to change my company name because he was using my company name. And how I found out, I had a client that called me personally and was like, hey, this guy Johnny is at my house. He's using your name. I went to the job site to tell Johnny, hey man, you don't work for me, stop using my name. So I don't have no knowledge of this. I'm not responsible for this. And I feel like I should not even be even considered into this because I already know the penalties for this because I done dealt with this already before. So it wouldn't make me, so that's why I went and started using contracts for stuff like this.
I see. What was the date that that they took down the trees?
I'm sorry, sir. I don't know the date. It was months after. Actually, I think it was about 10 months after the hurricane. So, but I don't have the exact dates of when this occurred.
Okay. And Mr. Reddick, do you have paperwork that shows that you're this gentleman that's going around saying that he works for you?
I do. I sent it all. I had it sent. Oh, go.
If I'm able to speak, sir, I was.
I'm sorry, ma'am. You may not until you take the oath of witness.
Okay.
If you'd like to speak, I can have Ms. Meyer give you the oath of witness if you'd like.
Yes, please.
If it's important to the case. Hold on
Yes.
1 second.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And state your name and address.
Denise Perez, 15823 Cedar Elm Terrace, Land O'Lakes, Florida, 34638.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am, what would you like to add? Could you tell me your relation here to,
I was the vice president of Ready, Set, Cut.
I'm sorry?
I was the vice president of the company.
Okay,
I was the one who actually terminated Johnny. He has stolen our truck previous times, actually to the point where we ended up getting him incarcerated. He stole our truck, and in our truck, he stole a trailer, and he has been charged with petty theft. It's just been an ongoing case, and it's unfortunate, and we feel very bad that he did this on the other party's account. However, this is something that Johnny Gregory is known to do, hence why we fired him. And like I said, he had a warrant out for his arrest because of that petty theft that he did, and finally just got caught. But again, he's stole our truck numerous times. He's used our company name numerous times, as Rashad was stating. We had to shut the company down. I mean, he just tarnished our name to the point where there was no return. And since then we have opened up another tree company, but we have no contact with Johnny for quite some time already. Again, that's unfortunate, but this was not a Ready, Set, Cut job. Rashad always goes after the jobs are done to go view them. He was never at this address and does not know anything about it.
so I'm unclear as to why you went to review the work if the gentleman that did the work wasn't on your payroll.
No, I said he always will review a job, is what I'm saying. This is not one of his jobs. This was a Johnny job. What I'm saying is other jobs, like if they're our jobs, you would see Mr. Reddick.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who collects the money. He will be the one he would see. Johnny Gregory was doing these jobs. If you didn't see Rashad, this wasn't an RSK job. This was a Johnny acting as like he's the owner of RSK.
I understand. Mr. Gonzalez, do you have a contract or any type of paperwork from Ready, Set, Cut Tree Service in regards to this?
We never signed a contract. No, nothing. No. I actually.
Guy came around and knocked on your door, said,
"Yeah,
hey, would you like to get rid of this?"
And honestly,
sounds a little sketchy, doesn't it?
Yeah. I wasn't aware of the permits, and actually, I didn't even know that right behind my fence line was not my property. To be honest with you, Your Honor,
right.
It's within inches or maybe a feet or two of my fence. So it's unfortunate, but that's the way it went down.
Understand. Ms. Hall, in regards to your recommendations for violators here, I don't see anything that shows that Ready, Set, Cut Tree Service was involved other than the testimony of Mr. Gonzalez. Did we look for this individual to?
What we did is we got the information from the HOA. They said it was an RSK company that did the work. We notified Ready, Set, Cut Tree Service about it, and they were researching their files to see, who had did it, when it was done. We were told that it was a Johnny that did the job. they provided a letter to us just about a week ago that identified that Mr. Johnny Gregory was fired back just, it looks like based on the date, just before this tree removal happened, because the HOA had notified us in the fall of 2018. So we were trying to determine if this party, this company should be responsible. Without a contract, I don't see that. And if Angel Gonzalez paid them with any other kind of receipt, we would need that information to investigate it further. But if he paid Mr. Gregory, based on the information we've received from Ready, Set, Cut Tree Service, they also identified that he has a criminal record and may be difficult to locate.
Okay. Kind of feel on this case, to just speaking to both you, Mr. Reddick and Mr. Gonzalez, I feel on this case, we kind of got a little bit of a rock and a hard place here. So I don't see enough evidence to say that Ready, Set, Cut is truly the party that took down the trees, because you have no paperwork for that, unfortunately. By the same token, I understand why you did what you did, and I've had those folks knock on my door too, so I understand how they can be quite convincing. So I think what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to rule here in a second, but just to give you guys an idea, I'm going to remove Ready, Set, Cut Tree Service from the violations for this case. I just don't see enough evidence, so I'm going to remove them, and then I'm going to reduce the number of inches of the violation for the penalty for you, so that I know that you tried to do the right thing. You thought you were hiring a tree service, so I don't feel like you should carry all of that burden. We'll use this as a learning opportunity to move forward. So, going forward, you got to have some paperwork and you got to make sure they take a permit.
Yeah, actually, Your Honor, I just thought I mentioned that I did speak to someone from the HOA, and this was before COVID hit, and we were working along and trying to resolve the situation without ever needing to come here. But I was trying to find out which type of trees they would want to have planted on and all that sort of stuff. And
Sure.
I guess after COVID hit, then we didn't communicate anymore, and here we are.
So the nice part is that Ms. Hall will get with you after my ruling, and she'll help you with if you want to do restoration instead of paying into the fund. So there's definitely options for you to do that. So okay. All right. Ms. Hall, can you put your recommendations back up on the screen for me, please? Thank you. I'm about to be signed out. Please hold. Lots of pop-ups today. I rule in case L195831, the base of the evidence presented, I find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the action taken by the violator and the violator's history, concur with staff's recommendations and ask that the violator, Angel Gonzalez, submit a compliant tree restoration and/or contribution agreement for 20 dBHs of inches of trees within 30 calendar days. Then to complete restoration and contribution to the restoration fund within 120 calendar days from receipt of approved agreement. The violator, Angel Gonzalez, is responsible for resolving this matter with the county. The property owner shall be removed from the violation, and Ready, Set, Cut Tree Service Incorporated shall be removed from the violation. Fines for failure to meet any of these deadlines will be the amount of $75 per day. All right, we're all set.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
You too now.
Next case is on page 10, number 16, case number L205964. The owner is Luis Gomez and Raymar Reyes. And location 3217 South 70th Street, and we have service. There is someone here in person, and there are also individuals signed on online. Good morning. Raise your right hand, please.
Yeah.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
and state your name.
Good morning. My name is Ramona Reyes.
Ms. Gomez.
Our property address is 3217 South 70th Street, and it's in Tampa, Florida, 33619.
Thank you.
Ms. Hall?
Krista Hall with the Development Services Department. This is case L 205964. Property owner and violator is Luis Gomez and Ramara Reyes. Violation address is 3217 South 70th Street, Tampa. Violation unpermitted disposal of fill materials not consistent with the approved single-family site plan and adversely impacting off-site drainage. Ordinance violation is section 4.01.03, first inspection, March 13th, 2020. First notice, April 27th, 2020. Last inspection, January 11th, 2021. 4 inspections. This is a copy of the approved single-family grading plan, or this is the first inspection dated March 15th, 2020 by John Beavers. There was identified fill materials in the back area. As of this date, those materials have been removed. The next picture is the grading plan that was approved in regards to the area around the property. It shows the water flows on how it's supposed to go off the property. Now, I would like to include John Beavers to assist us on these photos. So this is the most recent photos that were taken January the 11th. John, are you available?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Good morning, John.
Good morning. John Beavers, Environmental Investigations Supervisor with Natural Resources. That picture is now not on the screen. There it is. This is looking to the west along the kind of the problematic side of the house. The slope from the roof is heading southward. The house is a newer home, so it was built up higher than the existing homes around it, which is set a finished floor elevation. However, it is going to the south instead of out toward the east toward the county right away, and it is entering the neighbors.
John, I want to interrupt you. Did you take the oath when I gave it to staff earlier?
I did.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. This is in the this is the location in the front yard, looking toward the right of way, and it's just showing the elevation change between the one property to the next. This photo is looking directly at the complainant's house. Again, at a lower elevation. The property line is low. Again, there's a difference between the two properties, and the water is not being conducted per the plot plan it would be from right to left toward the right of way. The fence is there. It has a concrete footer, and that is obstructing the flow along that low point between the properties.
John, on this picture that we're seeing here, so you're saying the flow is supposed to be from right to left as we see it?
That's correct.
Okay.
I can see the concrete below the fence up towards the wired fence.
Oh, the posts aren't in concrete. There's a complete concrete slab blocking it horizontally from flowing?
Yeah, some sort of footer wall. Is that correct, John?
Almost fill?
It's like a footer wall that's supporting the columns.
How about Josie Wales?
Would the fence be allowable if they had flow under the fence and that concrete was
Krista, I'm here, Krista.
pervious?
John, are you still there?
I am. I heard Abdel, I think he's trying to join the meeting.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here for any questions.
Okay. The question was again, sir?
The question being, is the fence allowable if it would allow the proper flow from right to left underneath the fence instead of having an obstruction there like that?
I would think so. It's a side yard fence that a lot of people have, and this one's just built real sturdy.
Okay. Can we go back to the original plot plan and, oh, you've got, yeah. So flow for this should be going which direction?
It should be going, as we're looking at it, it should all be going toward the right, toward the right-of-way of 70th Street. There's a pronounced county ditch in the front. Yeah. And so the area that we're talking about is the fence is dividing the front yard and the backyard. I don't know if I can.
John, in this grading plan, where is the complainant's residence?
On the bottom.
Where?
The bottom of the photo, the plot plan is the adjoining property. That's the complainant. Yes.
So at the,
okay.
this bottom property.
And
Okay.
the houses are lined up, so the houses are about the same distance back from the road.
So the fence that we were just looking at is actually coming off of the corner of the house and going to the bottom of this plot plan?
Very close to it, yes, sir.
Sorry, I'm restarting.
It's okay.
Can we go back to that one more time, Ms. Hull, please? Or here. Okay. All right, I think I've got it. Okay, folks, what would you like to tell us?
Okay, first of all, that one, and the initial picture that you had there with the dirt, that was actually, we're doing a pool.
Oh, that's great.
So that one was not the original. When they brought us this violation for the unpermitted disposal, we were building the pool and we took all that dirt and we put it back there. And then when we got the violation, we hauled off all that dirt.
And she mentioned that in her testimony.
Right. Now, prior to this incident, we've had complaints from the neighbor before. I mean, when we built our house, we built it, according to every single compliance, and it was approved by the county prior to us moving in. We live in a neighborhood that when it rains, the roads completely, they fill. The ditches, the county has been there multiple times to clean the ditches. And really the neighbor, when she built her pool, she didn't.
Okay, I'm not speaking very well about she get nervous or everything. I got the picture.
She was doing great.
Yeah, but she's missing. I got the picture. The picture.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry, will you please put your mask?
Have to use your mask.
The masks are
Well, my
required.
English not very well. And with
That's
this
okay.
mask is gonna be worse. Okay, but first, in that area, every property is overfilled of water when the rain comes. I got the proof here. This is a low spot on around 1 mile. Everybody get wet. Everybody. Okay. This is the first one. The second one, when we 5 years ago built the house, we locate the house very far from the property line over there, 60 feet, because her house is 5 feet from my property line. She doesn't have a gutter. Gutter. I got the pictures here. She don't have gutter. All the water going to to the limit of my
I
property.
need for him to talk into the microphone as he's presenting this photo so that I can pick him up for the recording, please.
Okay, yes. She don't have gutter. When she did the pool, she
Sir,
refilled.
one second. The pictures that you're showing are of your neighbor?
Yeah, that's the neighbor who's complaining.
Okay. So you haven't, these aren't pictures of your house.
We gotta understand, when we built the house, everything was permit and approved by the county.
I understand.
Okay, this is the first. After that, we never changed any level of the dirt of my property. That's
I'm
understood?
still following you.
Okay.
So you, just to summarize here, to make sure it's clear, you built a pool, you're building a pool or built a pool.
This year,
The piles that were shown
year.
in the picture were what you
Well,
removed from the pool.
we got 2.5 acres. We put it on the back,
So you, instead of
never
removing,
the sides.
so instead of removing the dirt for the pool, you spread it around the back
No,
of
I
your
didn't
property.
spread it. We didn't
You
spread
just
it.
left it there
We-
and you had it removed.
We can do.
So you didn't, so you didn't at any time change the elevation of your property from what you originally built?
Yes,
Okay.
since the county approved it. Because I was paying $15,000 on landscaping. I'm not gonna ruin that because I don't have any more $15,000 to redo the landscaping again. Okay. Then, she bought the property about 6 months ago. About 6 years ago. And she modified her property level. She did a pool and she refilled her property. I got more pictures.
Doesn't make sense.
I want this picture, this picture. Okay. On that picture, you see the garage back there. That's her main complaint. If you see the dirt from the house, from her property, where is going? Going to the house, going to the garage. The garage level is under her property. She created her problem and she complained about us. That's the case here. So if you see one more picture, this one.
It's good.
Okay, that one, please. If you see her picture, her house is close to my property line, right? And the level is going through my property line too. And she don't have a gutter. I got a gutter 60 feet from my property line. I got a house and I got gutters. Most of them.
Sir, you can't talk when you're not in front of the microphone,
Okay,
or
sorry.
our recording ladies online will be very upset with you.
Yeah,
So
I have to do.
move the picture first and then come back to the microphone, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
The gutters, I got one on the side, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. See, this is the side of her property. This is my property, but on the side of her. That gutter going all the way to the front and going to the way on the right and going to the street. The water going all to the street. I'm not creating any problem like they say, but that's the problem. Who's right, who's not? And her pictures, the garage that she got on the back, that's the one she filled of water because her water, or from the roof of the house, from around the pool, she refilled it and she modified her property. So nobody smart, everything going to the garage.
Okay.
And the garage area is 5 feet from my property line.
I understand.
The property line is the lowest
Yes, sir.
area on the whole area between us.
I understand. I understand your position. I understand what you're showing me in regarding to the neighbors. What I am concerned with here today is the impact of your property on other properties. So if you have a concern about your neighbor and where her water is going, or if it's impacting you or someone else, you can get with the folks, natural resource, and you file a complaint, and they'll come out there and they'll try to determine where the water is going for her property. Okay, so right now I just want to focus on what's happening with your property.
I'm trying to prove that my property don't the water don't go to her property. It's 60 feet. Everything comes from the bottom because all property around are saturated with water when the rains come. But I'm trying to prove too that her create her problem.
Yes, I understand. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
John or Jim, are you guys still on the line?
Yes, sir.
We are.
Okay, so explain to me, have you seen this condition while it's raining, or when you went out to review, do we believe that there's an elevation issue here, or is it just that we're restricting flow for the proper drainage to 70th?
I haven't been out there right after a heavy rainfall. Mr. Gomez is correct. It's a very low area. If you go to the street in front of his house, he is at the low area of the whole entire area, the neighborhood. There are pronounced ditches in the front, and he has mentioned, as the complainant has mentioned, that those just totally get flooded out. The county looks like they're putting in a pretty good maintenance on them, and they are pretty deep. But I have not seen it in a real wet environment. There is an elevation change, and it's really because of the newer home versus the older home and the finished floor elevation that was set. In accordance to the plot plan, however, it does appear that the drainage should be directed to the right-of-way, and that may be difficult to do, particularly with that footer or that wall that divides the two properties. It would be hard to say that just opening that up would take care of the situation. But we have a stormwater engineer that's available online right now that maybe could add to that.
Oh, that'd be great.
And John and Magistrate, I have blown up that grading plan to see if that'll help you out if you go back to my presentation.
Okay.
Can you switch to the county presentation? Thank you. Can you see the grades and the water arrows on that? That is how the drainage should occur on the single-family lot.
Yes.
What typically happens after a CO is issued for the grading? Over time, with the different heavy rains, changes with the property such as pool construction, the grades can be altered, unfortunately. And if they're not maintained or adjusted back to what was approved, then you get these lumps or diversions that can impact adjacent properties. John, who is the engineer that's available? Is that Abdel?
I believe that bill is available, yes.
I am here.
Okay, Abdel, were you at the property recently too?
Almost the same time as John was. Same kind of time, yes.
I need for him to identify himself for the record, please.
Yeah.
Adele, you've got to identify yourself and your address for the record.
Yeah, this is Abdel Al-Arfi, Hillsborough County Stormwater.
I have put up the county recommendation because that was based on the stormwater's recommendation in regards to maybe help alleviating probably problems on both sides. in essence, trying to get the grading plan that has a good drainage swell that will help catch these drainage issues. And that was the recommendation that we would like to provide to the property owners, Gomez and Reyes, in regards to resolving this issue. A swell that is about 6 to 1 foot deep, 3 feet wide, with that drains towards the front of the house. Or they provide a new as-built plan that shows that the grading elevations are showing that the drainage works for the property. So I do know that, I believe there is some other parties involved that want to speak up today.
Oh, okay. We have other folks online to testify?
Yes, I'm Mary Jo Nealon. I'm the property manager. I've been the property manager for the last 3 years.
Okay, ma'am, I think you need to take the oath of witness. 1 second, please.
Yes, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And state your name and address.
Mary Jo Nealon with Florida State Unlimited Realty, 2020 West Brandon Boulevard, Suite 145, Brandon 33511.
Thank you.
And ma'am, can you tell me your relation to the
I
case
am
again?
property manager. Ella Machette, the owner of the property at 3401 South 70th Street, had moved to California, and I am the property manager for the last 3 years.
Okay, thank you. What would you like to tell us?
Well, when I first went to the property about 3 years ago, the first thing I noticed was that we had a heavy rain, and when I stepped into the backyard, I was ankle deep in water, and she explained to me that she's been had a problem since the house next door had been built, and she had actually dug all the way around the garage that is at the back part of the property, and tried to keep the water out. But the whole time the garage door had totally rusted out, and there is a water line in that back garage that's about 6 inches up the wall. And from what I observed, if you looked north about 25 to 30 feet onto the adjoining property, there was a large mound of dirt that was very obvious, and there was water. You could actually see where the water had trailed down and had formed a path entering the property at about the northeast corner of the garage in the back of the property. So it was obvious that the water was just pouring down there and onto the property at 3401 South 70th Street. So she wasn't able to get this resolved from what I understand from complaints previously. So I suggested that we have a engineering report, and I called Burl Engineering in, and I believe Abdel has the copies of the engineering report from that time showing the elevations and also the dirt that had been piled in the back. And that was prior to construction, but there was still a large mound of dirt at the back of the property 3 years ago. So this was even prior to them installing the pool this past year. They had taken it down a little bit, but not to the extent that it needed to be. So, so after the engineering report, I've also gone to Labs drainage, so they could give us some input as to what was happening and what could resolve the problem. And of course, one of the things that they had said was that there needs to be a swell on the north side of the property, on the Reyes property, and to further resolve it, it would cost my client at 3401 about $6,600 to resolve and get the water drained to the street. So that's pretty much where we are right now, but it's obviously still higher. And I beg to differ that the property, that the mounds of dirt were leveled off, because it's obvious they still have not leveled off.
Okay, and your testimony today was from some time ago, or you've been out to the property recently to?
I've been out to the property several times. I was out there as recently as this past week. The entire property is low, but the property next to it is obviously much higher. So that seems to be the problem. And as I said, I observed the water flow from the property next door onto this property over the last 3 years. So the main issue is that, you know, my client is looking to get back the use of her garage and enjoyment of her backyard. And, you know, further back on the property, about an acre of land, it does get wet. She's not complaining about that. I mean, because it's a low area. But from what I understand, and she's on the line as well, that she can update you on when the problem started and how it's transgressed.
I'm sorry, did you say that the property owner that's being impacted is also online as a?
Yes, Elamacet Fiani. Yes, she is online right now.
Oh, okay.
Does she want to testify?
Does she want to testify?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, nobody here knew that she was here, so.
Yeah, she is here. I mean, if you give us an opportunity, we can explain it. As Mary Jones, explained it, there is a history behind it.
Sir, 1 second. Let the folks here give you the oath of witness. If both of you want to testify, I'd be more than happy to give you an opportunity to speak, but let her sign you in.
Raise your right hand.
Okay,
Raise your right hand, please.
Right hand.
Right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
And both of you state your name and address.
My name is Alamshat Bayan. My home address 3401 South 7th Street, Tampa, Florida 33619.
And you, sir, are you going to be testifying?
Yes,
And your name?
Ketacho Demeku Osman. I'm brother of Alamishit. My address is 2105 Christine Good, California 94513.
Thank you.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
It's just, to add, to Mary Jones, what she alluded, this didn't start just recently. Her husband passed away about 2 years ago. And prior to the building, houses, husband tried, to mitigate and discuss it with him. This issue aggravated after the husband died. Other than that, they started this problem to be resolved from the very beginning when they put the house. So we don't want to give him, I don't, and then also we tried also to mitigate, really, we initiated based on Mary Jones, recommendation, hired an engineer, we incurred the cost but they're not willing to really, solve the problem as a neighbor. They refused, to talk to her. They refused, to create, the problem. They tried to take, the law in their own hand. So this is the situation. They really want to come to the county. They are the ones, really, violated, the code. Now they are mentioning about the swimming. That has nothing to do with this issue.
Okay. Gentleman from IT, excuse me, pardon me. Is it possible for you guys to turn that speaker around so that it points this direction without getting any feedback? I'm having a difficult time hearing the testimony of those folks that are online. That would be fantastic. Thank you. Okay, well, we're working on that. I know you guys have heard some testimony. I'd like to say a couple things. Is there a couple things you'd like to add?
Yeah.
Yes, everything that we have done has been approved by the county and in compliance. And we have been there for over 4 years. And until literally we started the pool, that's when the big issue started. And all we did was take out the land from the pool.
No sense.
And I don't, well, yeah, they'll always complain, but not to this level.
Okay.
Anytime.
This is easy to understand, okay? I know it's my property right now, but if you see the garage she has and the level of her property, it's easy to understand that she refilled her property. Because that garage been there since the house was built. It's easy to understand this, though I know it's my property right now. But it's easy to understand that she modified also. That property that I have, I bought before her property. I bought this property before her by her property.
I totally understand what you're saying, sir. You do realize that as a homeowner, that you are responsible for the water that falls on your property.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what the folks of the county are asking is that they want to go through a process with you, verify that that has been done correctly, and make modifications if need to be to deal with the water that's on your property.
They can improve it.
Regardless of what your homeowner neighbor has done, hasn't done, how long their facility has been there, you ultimately are still responsible for your water, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm 100%. The water from my property don't go her property.
And that's what this
100%.
I understand. And that's what this process is for, because we have some folks online and the folks that are going to come out and they're going to help you through that process. Okay. So all we're doing is verifying. And I understand you got a pool done. I can see in the pictures here just from your neighbor and the ruts in the yard just going back to the garage. So I know that there's water that's stopping in places, but what is happening on her property has nothing to do with the impact on yours and vice versa. So what we're trying to do here is verify that your water stays with you. And if there's issues with the neighbors, then you can work with that. And as a whole are going to come up with a solution.
Yeah, but whatever I do with my property is not going to help her property because the problem is in her property, not in my property.
I understand. But if you contain your issue and you get checked off by the folks of the county and your elevations and your slopes are correct, then they're no longer looking at you. Then they've got to go and deal with something else.
Exactly.
Or they've got to fix their drainage on their own property. But at the end of the day, the water on your property is your responsibility. And it appears that you guys understand that. So what we're going to do is go through the process. And so I'm going to come up with a ruling, and they're going to give you some time to go through the process and or make the modifications. You know, they'll come out, tell you what it needs to be. They'll do a review and they'll give you recommendations on what you need to do to fix that and a timeline in which to do it. If it's required. If it's not, if they come out and they say the water's really not going that way, it's going someplace else or it's going a different direction, then we're done.
Yeah, I feel that she needs to build the swale on her property so that it can flow from her to the ditch.
And that's a different issue.
Their expense.
I understand. And that's a different issue for a different day.
Right.
When they come in front of the board and have issues with their property. So
unfortunately, we have to put a complaint then about her property because I know she modified her property, and now we got in this situation.
I understand. As I mentioned, as a homeowner, you
And we're
have the
being
right.
harassed by the county for something that was approved by the county,
Right.
which makes no sense.
I understand. And if we verify that it's been done properly by the county, then your process here is done. Okay? Understand? Great.
May I say something else, please?
Ma'am,
Yes, may I say something else, please?
I'd be happy for you to, please.
Okay, you know, the garage where the water is coming up to about 6 inches inside the garage, obviously that garage has been there for many, many years before my client even purchased it. And it's quite obvious that the property adjoining is much higher and the water flow is coming down from that property. And when Labs came out, which I understand also does a lot of work for the city of Tampa, so I'm sure that you're familiar with their work. And they're the ones that also said that there needs to be a swell on the north side of their property.
Mary, let me stop you real quick. This is not a city property. This is a county property. So I mean, it doesn't really apply at this point. So what we're going to do is go through the process and we're going to address this particular lot. And then, as I mentioned before, these homeowners have the right to have file a complaint if there's something wrong with the neighbor's yard, and we'll go through the process with them. But right now we have to address the water that's on their property. And until we prove that it is or isn't going a certain direction, and the testimony from staff has been that they haven't been out there in the water to see where it's going, but we'll go through this process the way it's supposed to go. And if there's a problem, we'll be back and I'll be here. Okay? All right. John and Jim, is there any, based on the pictures that I'm seeing here in the issue in regards to the fence and how that water sheds, do you believe that there's a solution here for this property owner?
You want to speak up, Abdel, or you want me to summarize it? Or
If it's on the recommendation, I can read the recommendation. I believe that came from Abdel.
That'd be fine.
Okay. Let me go back to the
Staff recommendation,
presentation.
please.
Yes. Can you go back to the presentation, please? Okay. As per the grading plan, you can see that the plans approved water flows to go towards the street. So staff recommendation is that they provide a grading plan that identifies a drainage swell that will go towards the street. It should be at least a minimum of 6 to 1 foot deep, about 3 foot wide, that will drain towards the front of the house or the street.
Okay.
Within 30 calendar days. Install that swell after it's been approved in 30 calendar days. Otherwise, they're going to need to provide us an as-built plan of the final grading elevations that indicate that the grades that it meets the county's prior approved plan.
Okay. Okay.
Abdel, is there anything else that should be changed?
No, you're good. No, you're good. That's what we agreed on. You're good.
Excuse me, Abdel, did you take the oath of witness?
No, I have not.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you.
So yes,
Will you just-
what we are asking for is that the grading plan originally approved shows the flow going from the back to the front. Now, when they constructed the wall and they put footing to the fence, that stopped the flow from back to the front. And what's happening now, when the water hits the wall, it goes right into the next property or maybe goes left. So it doesn't go to the front as it's supposed to. So what we're asking for is some way to allow the water to go to the front, either by making a weeping holes in the wall, in the footing, or another way they can come up with to make the flow continue to the front. And the swale should be like maybe a couple feet away from the property line and heading from the back to the front. 6 inch minimum deep and 3 feet wide. It's very minimum slope. You can't even notice it, but will allow the water to continue to the front. Now, I don't know how they're gonna go through the footing of the fence. That could be an obstacle to the flow. But I leave that up to them to find a way how to do it. They can create a weeping hole in the footing. They can pipe it under the footing. However they do it, we just want to make sure they maintain the flow pattern as it was approved up front in the site plan. That's all we're asking for.
Very good.
Okay. Terrific. Yes, sir. What would you like to add before I
Sorry,
move?
sorry, but I'm not an engineer. So if the problem is back of the property, what are we doing here on the front of the property? The problem is the garage. It's full of water. That's the problem. That's the main problem, I know. And the garage is back of the property. We got a lot of lands, 2.5 acres each one. And the problem is on the back. It's not on the front, it's not on the side, it's on the back, like you see in the picture. I understand. I do whatever. I'm not an engineer, but it's easy to understand. If the problem is over there, I'm not gonna work in here in the front. It's easy to understand that.
The testimony from the engineer is that it's in regards to the
Yeah.
discharge of the water from your
Yeah, but
property. Regardless of where the water is going or where it's coming from,
Yeah.
how it's going off your property is not correct.
I told you where it's coming from. It's coming from her property.
So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna rule, and you're gonna have an option. You're gonna be able to get somebody to come out and put in a swale for you, or do a swale yourself, or as the testimony from the engineer was, to somehow put some weep holes or something in the footer so the water can continue towards the street. Or you can get somebody to come in and verify that all your elevations from what was originally done on your plot is correct. If it is correct and it's what is there and nothing's changed, then you're fine. It's been approved and that's what it is. But we're gonna go through the process to make sure that those things are done. Okay, understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, great.
Fairly.
All right. I rule in case, can you put the recommendations back up for me, please? I rule in case L 205964 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, concur with staff's recommendations and order the violator provide a grading plan that identifies a drainage swale, minimum 6 inches to 1 foot deep by 3 foot wide, that will drain towards the front of the house within 30 calendar days. Install that drainage swale within 30 calendar days, or provide an acceptable as-built plan of the final grade elevations within 30 calendar days. Failure to meet any of these deadlines as proposed will result in a fine of $150 per day.
Your Magistrate, I also want to add that when she put in her pavers, she covered her own swale. That completely altered.
Yeah. No,
Understand, ma'am,
And you can address that by filing an issue with that particular property, but I've already ruled on this, so.
Okay. If you see my property there's a tree where they want to put the dish. There's a tree in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we're gonna do that.
Well, you're gonna address that with the folks when they come out to inspect, and they've already given you recommendations, and you can move.
Yeah, just get in touch with Abdel or John Beavers, and they will assist you on the swell location. Just to let you know, the neighbors have indicated that they are also going to be hiring someone to address their drainage on their property because they were concerned you wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Terrific.
I'd like to add one more thing, that I'll be happy to meet with the citizen, explain to them how what we're looking for, and John and I can accommodate that, and will be no problem. We'd like to have a compliance, but we'd like to address any issues that they have in mind, and we discuss with them on site what we're looking for, and hopefully we give them different ideas. Maybe they have ideas. We'd like to discuss with them what can we do there.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm agree with him. I mean, if somebody meet me over
Sir,
there.
I've already ruled on the case.
Yeah.
So Mr. John and those guys will get with you and work through that process from here forward, okay?
Thank you,
What
sir.
I'm saying is, instead of go to the front, go
Thank
to the
you, sir.
back.
That's it.
Thank you very much. We've got other cases we have to do. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, and quickly, before
Was it not?
Natural Resources leaves, I'll just go through the cases that they had on the agenda that are no longer on the agenda. If you'll turn to page 7, number 12, L195727, this case has been pulled and will be rescheduled. Number 13, L195795, this case has also been pulled and rescheduled. Page 8, number 14, L195818, this case is in compliance. And that's all of the L cases.
We done it?
I think Krista could have told me that.
There's no more.
Apparently.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
ready?
Are we
Okay.
back around to
We're going
Water?
to the water cases.
Terrific.
Page 1, number 1, case number WR20000667, complied on February 4th, 2021. Next case is number 2, WR20011103. The owner is Juan O. Santana, 10515 White Peacock Place. We have service and no one is present.
I promise to be much faster.
We'll see.
Case number WR20011103. This is the owner of Juan Santana. The location is 10515 White Peacock Place. On Thursday, 8/13/2020 at 8:13 in the morning, AM hours, Officer Ted Baker arrived at this location to find a sprinkler system on in the front side of the home. On the right side. This is a non-watering day and during non-watering hours. A notice of violation was sent out on 8/14/2020. Default notice on 9/28/2020. And the notice of hearing was hand-delivered on 1/20/2021. The fine is $200. There's a previous violation on 7/9/2020. Under case number WR20000948.
The previous case, 7/9/2020, has fines running?
I don't know, sir. I can't confirm that.
Understand. I rule in case WR20011103, the base limits presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances list task presentation. Further advice to the ground of violation action taken by the violator and the violator's history. I grant 30 days to come into compliance. If compliance not achieved by that date, a fine of $25 per day be assessed.
It would be.
I'm going to restate my motion for case WR20011103. I rule in case WR20011103, the base limits presented, I find the violator has failed to pay the water resources penalty fine for illegal sprinkling imposed by section 111-7, Hillsborough County Codes, Ordinances, and Laws, Part B, Public Utilities. I grant the violator 30 days to pay the water penalty fine imposed in order if that payment is not made by that date, a code fine of $25 per day be assessed. Thank you. Next case, please.
Page 2, number 3, WR20011188. The owner is Frederick K. Brooks and Shelby Brooks, 11019 Rosso Della Street. We have service and no one is present.
Okay, this case is WR20011188. The owner of the property is Frederick K. Brooks and Shelby Brooks. The address is 11019 Rosadella Street. On Friday, 9/4/2020 at 7:54 a.m., Officer Ted Baker arrived at the location to find a sprinkler system on along the rear of the home. This is during a non-watering day. Notice of violation was sent out on 9/14/2020. Default notice was 10/14/2020, and the notice of hearing was Baker left a hanger on the door and posted the notice on 1/21/2021. The fine is for $200, 100 of which was paid on 1/15/2021, and they still owe $100. This is actually the third incident at the location. The first incident on 7/9/2020 under WR 20000921 resulted in a warning, and on 8/24/2020 WR 2001142 noticed as a notice of violation.
I rule in case WR 2001188, the base of the evidence presented, the violator has failed to pay the water resources penalty fine for illegal sprinkling imposed by section 111-7, Hillsborough County Codes of Ordinances and Laws, Part B, Public Utilities. I grant the violator 30 days to pay the water penalty fine imposed. Order, if that payment is not made by that date, a code fine of $20 per day be assessed.
Number 4, WR 200-1214. The owners are Oscar and Claudio Gamboa, 13164 Green Violet Drive. We have service and no one is present.
Again, this case is WR 2001214. The owners of Oscar Gamboa and Claudio Gamboa. The location is 13164 Green Violet Drive. On Tuesday, 9/22/2020 at 2:41 p.m., Officer Ted Baker arrived at the location to find watering. This watering was done during non-watering hours. A notice of violation was sent out on 9/24/2020. And the default notice on 10/27/2020, and the notice of hearing was hand-delivered on 1/20/2021. The fine is $100.
I rule in case WR 2001214, the base of the evidence presented, the violator has failed to pay the water resources penalty fine for illegal sprinkling imposed by section 111-7, Hillsborough County Codes of Ordinances and Laws, Part B, Public Utilities. I grant the violator 30 days to pay the water penalty fine imposed. Order, if payment is not made by that date, a code fine of $15 per day be assessed.
Page 3, number 5, WR 200-1302. This case complied January 28, 2021. Number 6, WR 200-1303. The owners are Ravindra Shrikasan and Matthias Lucidana. The location is 11102 Carrick Stone Street. We have service and no one is present.
This case is WR 2001303. Owners of Ravinda Ashuan and Matthias Lucindania. The location is 11102 Carrick Stone Court. On Tuesday, 10/13/2020 at 8:05 a.m., Officer Ted Baker arrived at the location to find a sprinkler system on the front left side of the driveway. Notice of violation was sent out on 10/14/2020. Default was 11/17/2020. And a hand delivery by Officer Baker was done on 1/20/2021 as a notice of hearing for this case. The fine is $100.
I rule in case WR 2001303, the base of the evidence presented, the violator has failed to pay the water resources penalty fine for illegal sprinkling imposed by section 111-7, Hillsborough County Codes of Ordinances and Laws, Part B, Public Utilities. Grant the violator 30 days to pay the water penalty fine imposed. Order, if that payment is not made by that date, a fine of $15 per day be assessed.
Page 4, number 7, WR 200-1311. This case complied February 1st, 2021. Number 8, WR 200-1354. The owner is Brittany A. Parenti, 11805 Winterset Cove Drive. We have service and no one is present.
Order case WR 2001354. Owner of the property is Brittany Parenti, location 11805 Winterset Cove Drive. On Friday, 10/16/2020 at 8:07 a.m., Officer Paul Whaley arrived at the location to find watering. This was occurring during non-watering hours on 10/19/2020. The notice of violation was sent out. Default notice was 11/24/2020, and on 1/20/2021, Officer Ted Baker hand-delivered the notice of hearing to location. The fine is for $100.
I rule in case WR 2001354 that based on the evidence presented, the violator has failed to pay the water resources penalty fine for illegal sprinkling imposed by section 111-7, Hillsborough County Codes of Ordinances and Laws, Part B, Public Utilities. I grant the violator 30 days to pay the water penalty fine imposed. Order if payment is not made by that date, a fine of $15 per day be assessed.
Page 5, number 9, WR 2001372. This case complied February 2nd, 2021. Number 10, WR 2001382. This case complied February 4th, 2021. Page 6, number 11, WR 2001391. The owners are Osama Mohammed Al-Timani and Maisahas Aburish. I said that wrong. The location 7403 Pearly Everlasting Avenue. We have service and no one is present.
There's an ordering case WR 2001391 with the property owners Oscar Mohammed Al Tamimi and Misha Has Aburish. On Wednesday, 10/28/2020 at 9:30 a.m., Officer Leon Sadler arrived at the location to find the sorry walk in front of the residence soaked with water. And while at the location, the sprinkler system activated the watering again. This is during a non-watering day and non-watering hours. A notice of violation was sent out on 10/28/2020. A default was on 12/8/2020, and the notice of hearing was posted by Officer Baker on 1/22/2021. The fine is $100.
Excuse me, the notice of hearing was posted?
Yes.
Then we do not have service on this one. It had to be hand delivered. So we'll pull this one and reschedule it for the next hearing. And that concludes the agenda.
Fantastic. I move to adjourn.